Hello and welcome to the channel. My name is Disco Soup, and today I am going to be running something pretty cool. The game system is called Solo by Zozer Games. The studio run by a really cool guy named Paul Elliott. And what we're looking at here is the second edition of Solo. If you haven't heard, or if you've never played it, Solo is probably, I'd say, the most famous and well-respected of the Traveler-specific or Cepheus-specific Solo framework games. And Paul here has just come out with a second edition of the book. Oh gosh, I want to say the first one came out, well, let me check. I want to say like a decade ago, to be honest. I know that the publisher's taken down their first edition, their page for their first edition one. But Paul was cool enough, and I mean very cool. I woke up this morning to an email stating that those of us who had already bought the first edition of Solo all those years ago had a free download of the second edition within our libraries. And son of a gun, it was true. So Solo is, it's cool. It came about originally from a game that Paul had made called Star Trader, which I think you can still get. And that came out about 12 years ago almost. And I loved it. If you've ever played, like games like Elite or any of those, the sandbox games, it just gave you that experience. Solo increased it pretty tremendously. There's a lot of applications in here that you don't find elsewhere. A big one is that instead of playing as your one major hero, you're playing as your full crew. You're making them up. You could choose to have one of them represent you as your character avatar, but Paul has really cool systems for creating inter-character drama. So instead of, generating yourself a pulp sci-fi novel from the point of view of one heroic person, it's really more like creating an episode of, say, Firefly or Star Trek. So we're going to get through this. I have a link to Solo 2nd Edition in the description, and if you want to click on that, that's cool. It's an affiliate link. I've also got a link to my latest book, just because shameless self-promotion. We're not going to go through the whole thing here because, I want you to buy Paul's book and support him. He's a very cool creator. But let's go here to the character section. If we get to the point in this episode, because I'd like to do more episodes of it, where we play a campaign, Paul's got 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see how many this is, because I'm just cracking this open for the first time. 5, 6 campaigns, which I think these are all similar to the ones that he had in the full version of Solo when it came out all those years back. But he provides not only just this is how you would play through each scenario, but these campaign frameworks are really great. So essentially, Campaign 1, Travelers. Imagine this is Firefly. Star Traders, also kind of Firefly, but also kind of like old games like Elite. Scouts, your typical exploration, sci-fi, a little Star Trek-y. Naval officers, more Star Wars-y because it's, more patrols than exploration. Salvagers, maybe think The Expanse. And mercenaries, again, kind of, I'd say a little bit Firefly, a little bit Expanse, but also kind of like a bug hunt aliens type feel to it. There's so much you can do. And then he's also got all this. Look at this. 21 pages of random tables. If you know me, I'm a man who loves my tables. So let's go to the characters bit. We won't have time in this video or in any of the others to explore every bit of the book. And again, I'm not going to, because I want to make sure that you get into it for yourself as well. So, how many characters do you need? 3 or 4? Okay. Naval officers crew, 32, but you don't want to do that. So, let's see. Creating characters. Little guidance is needed here. Character creation and Traveler. And the really cool thing about the second edition of Solo is it's got full compatibility with the second edition of Mongoose Traveler, which I think I've got here. Oh no, I've got the 2016, which is their second edition, but it's not their most recent edition. But I'm pretty sure Paul's is completely up to the date. And in the notes that he sent, basically any Traveler game, any Cepheus system, you can run with Solo second edition. And I know he's got thanks to guys like Omer Golan Joel, which means or in the acknowledgements section of this book, who does a lot for Cepheus. So that gives me really full confidence in the compatibility, because much as I love Traveler, Mongoose Traveler was my first-ish professional writing gig. I love to play it. Sometimes I want to play a different system. I'll always come back to each of them, but there's so much to love in each of them that, sometimes you want a little variety. So, creating characters. Yeah. We'll get ready here. But I want to make a scout campaign. I would also, depending on how much support we get with this and how I see the scout campaign going, Traveler has a very famous campaign called the Pirates of Drynax, which still gets updates occasionally and new DLC content, and I would absolutely love to dive into that solo. Just make a huge, sprawling campaign video segment. So, if you want to play solo, I usually run it out of a Google Doc, and I use this here, brockjones.com/dieroller/dice.htm. It's a pretty handy one. So let's see, what are we doing? List of NPCs to choose from. Yeah, you can use pre-made, but do not use the connections rule from the Traveler's Core Book for interactions between the characters. Okay. Use character sheets in the Traveler Core Book, or 2 to a page sheets included at the back of this book. Print as many as you need. Okay, I think, as it says here, I'm going to create some characters, enough to crew a scout ship. And I'll probably use, like here, the Traveler's skill package. So I'm going to come back to page 15. But I want to see what ships Paul's got for us here. Let's go for Sorella class scout. Okay. Jump 2, thrust 2. Okay, model 10. Probably use this ship. 4. Okay, a pilot, astrogator, medic, and engineer. Okay, so... Oh, hey, look at that. Links to a product. Wow, okay, so this is interesting. This was not in the first edition, if I remember right. But Paul. I was thinking of a man named Todd Zercher, who shows up everywhere I look for things. He's a RPG fan, solo RPG fan. Does Traveler. Any internet forum I look for, I find that guy. And his name popped up into my head because I had recently seen it somewhere I was looking. But, so Paul here is using some cross-promotion to help promote other creators and their ships. That's really cool. So, we're going to make 4. Son of a diddly, what were they again? I'll write that down. Pilot, astrogator, medic, engineer. Okay. Now... Oh, my mouse is being oddly slow today. So, upbringing. The background skills that a character selects will give you opportunity to flesh out her. Yeah, okay, this is standard Traveler stuff. If you've never played Traveler or Cepheus, I really recommend them. You can get the Traveler core rulebook here on Drive-Thru RPG. I want to say it's like $35, but Matthew Sprange, who is the ruler of Mongoose, he actually now also owns the entire Traveler franchise, as I understand it. He's got 2 different versions of it. Beyond that, there's the, I want to say, Scout Edition and Merchant Edition, which are, they only cost $1, and they've got all the rules you need to start to play, so if you want to get familiar with it, it's great. They also come with a little ship. It's just kind of a really good vertical slice of the system. But let's see. A career, skills. Yeah, okay. Mustering out. When playing solo, it's advisable to try and cut some of the larger cash sums handed out during the mustering out process. Players can simply reduce all cash bonuses by 1/10. Okay, yeah. Yeah, we don't want them to be rich. Okay. I'll probably use the skill packages. Okay. So we have a life event table here, and I like this. This looks more comprehensive than the one that comes in the Traveler Core rulebook, which is not a knock on the Traveler Core rulebook. Sprange has this deal where in his core books they'll have a few life events, and then in splat books they often pad it out with more. And I like the way that works. Here's some cool art. Okay, so make 4 characters, and we're going to use this, and we will not create connections between our characters. So first, let's make a pilot type. Now, he could be former Navy, or he could be a scout. I want to say he's a scout. Scouts are kind of hard to make. So first off, we're going to roll once. Well, we're going to roll 6 of 2d6. Oh, good grief, no. No, we can't have a 2 in anything. Oh, okay. Well, maybe, I don't know. This is a really weak character, my friends. I'm sorry, I can't take that. Let's clear that. Okay, that's far more balanced. Okay, so we've got 5, 7, 8, 9, 9, 11. Okay. Nine, 11. So we've generated 6 statistics. We've got strength. We've got dexterity. Wait, do we call it that? We've got endurance. We've got intelligence. We've got education. And we've got social standing. So, generally, the pilots, I'm going to put social at 5. If you've never played before, your stats range from 2 to 12. Average stat of 7 because you're rolling 2d6 to generate them. 7 gets you no bonus or penalty. A 5 here, we do get a penalty of -1 to every roll that we make with it. And your rolls are 2d6. So a -1 is pretty significant. It means you're going to average a 6 on everything, and most difficulties you have to beat are 8. However, these 3, The 7 and the 8 will have no penalty or modifier. Then the 9, and the 11 are all going to have a +1 modifier. It's pretty common to increase attributes during character creation, and if you make it up to 12, you actually get a +2 bonus, which is massively powerful. Wait. Yeah, 12 is +2. 15 is +3. But if you'd seen in our first roll, we had a 2. A 2 is -2, and you can't have a character who gets that to everything. Okay. And then 5s on the others. So let's see. Background skills, yeah. Well, let's just make sure our pilot has... Now, we want to go to college for this guy. I find, yeah, we probably do. Let's take a look, though, because if you're not familiar, it's super easy to die or have all sorts of other problems happen during your career. And scouts are notoriously difficult to survive. Actually, not so bad here. But endurance. Okay, endurance and education. Endurance to survive, for sure. That 7 is kind of brutal. Couriers are almost never going to get promoted. It's a more thankless, but pretty well-rounded career. So, let's see. Surveyors and explorers. Really quick, I'm going to go and I'm going to see what the skills they come out with before I figure out whether we want to do an advancement or not, or college. We'll probably do college, especially because they use intelligence and education for their advancement. We might do surveyor because that's got a pretty survivable career, and reasonable-ish. But then again, if we do education 7, we could... Okay. So, surveyor, electronics, persuade, pilot, navigation, diplomat, streetwise, and the explorer, electronics, pilot, engineer, science, stealth, recon. Okay, so basically, the surveyor is going to be good piloting, and then he'll be really good on the ground, and the explorer will be really good in space. So I think we're going to go, even though it's harder and thankless, with an explorer. Who goes to college just to get that through? So, now you can go military academy, but in that you'd have to go, like, into the military. So we're going to go regular university first. And it looks like, oops, here we go. Entry, education, graduation, intelligence. Okay, yeah. So... Well, we'll do 7 for strength, 8 for dexterity, because that'll get us closer to 9, because we'll want that when we're piloting. But we can make up for that with a good pilot skill, which we should have. And then... Let's go. Endurance is usually a dump stat, but we'll do it this way. Okay. there we go, folks. So now we're gonna give ourselves some background skills. And let's go education DM plus 3, so we're gonna get 4. Let's go carouse, athletics, survival, and vac suit. Yeah. Why not? I think there's going to be some overlap, but I'm not tripping. Okay. Now, entry, education 7. Let's see if we even make it in. Oh, why did I hit D8? Clear roll history. Okay, 6 plus 1, 7. We made it in. So, turn 1. College. Entry. Yes. Okay. Choose a level 0 and level 1 skill from the following list. Admin, animals, art, astrogation, electronics, language, medic, navigation, profession, science. Let's do, we don't have pilot available there, but we'll do astrogation for our 1 and admin for our 0. Okay. Increase education by 1. Graduation intelligence 7 plus. Yay, we're guaranteed to 8, 9. Okay, so we didn't graduate with honors, but we graduated. Which is good, because you get some benefits for graduating. Increase the skills chosen above to level 1 and level 2 respectively. Okay. 1 and 2. Graduation grants DM plus 1 to qualify for following careers, of which Scouts is one. Graduation allows commission roll to be taken the first term of a military career. That doesn't apply to Scouts. So, okay. Oh, we have an event too, that's right. Okay. Event 9. You develop a healthy interest or hobby in another area of study. Gain a skill of your choice with the exception of Jack of all trades at level 0. I was going to say, yay, Jack of all trades. Of course, I don't think Jack of all trades does anything at level 0 anyways, does it? Let's say... Let's say gun combat, just because. This way he can shoot off a blaster if he needs to. Okay. Now we go into our next career. Our character was 18 when we started. He's 22 now. To qualify, intelligence 5 plus, so it's actually 4 plus, and we have a +1 bonus to intelligence, so we really only need to roll a 3 to qualify. Boom. Okay, so turn 2, Scouts, qualify, yes. Okay, so then, oops, we're going to take, now let me double check with this edition, but I'm pretty sure we get, we're going to go into Explorer, we get all the Explorer skills at 0. If I'm wrong, it's all the service skills. Okay. Pre-careers, start new term. For qualification, is this the first term of a career? Go through basic training. Yeah, basic training. Which is basic training here. For your first career only, you get all the skills listed in the service skills table level 0 as your basic training. That's right. Okay, so in this edition, citizens and drifters do from their specialty table. But here, as a scout, I'm going to be getting this. Pilot, small craft, survival, mechanic, astrogation, vac suit, and gun combat. See, yeah, I got a little bit there. So pilot, small craft. Actually, I think let me see. Is that scout ship a small craft or is it a spacecraft? Hull tonnage 100, so it's a small craft. Okay. Zero. Dude. Survival, mechanic. We already have astrogation. We also have survival. Okay. And vac suit. And gun combat. Cool beans. Well. That's okay. I'm not worried about this guy. So now, for our first term, we're going to do an event, which is 2d6. 9. Oh, keep clicking the wrong one. Here we go. Your scout ship is one of the first on the scene to rescue survivors of a disaster. Roll either Medicate Plus or Engineer A Plus. If you succeed, gain a contact and DM +2 to your next advancement check. If you fail, gain an enemy. Cool. Oh, well, here. Let's see. Oh, okay. So what are we rolling again? Medic or engineer? I don't have either of those. So no bonuses. Oh, I fail. Gain an enemy. Cool. If you're not familiar, having enemies is just as fun as gaining contacts. So now, let's do advancement. Oh, survival first. That's right. We have to roll. We're explorers. Endurance 7+, so we have to roll 6 or higher. We survived. Do we get an advancement? 5. What did I just roll? 6, so no advancement. Okay. Survive, yes. Advance, no. 3 scouts. You don't have to worry about qualifying. Instead, now we get to go and randomly roll. I'm going to roll for an explorer skill for science. Okay. We'll figure out a specialty for that later. Let's see what event we face. 7. Which I think usually 7 says see a life event. Yeah, so we're going to do these life events of halls. Okay, a D66, which is 1/6 for the tens digit, 3, 1 for the ones, so 32. You have an addiction, but no one knows about it. Ooh. How dark and gritty. And good for the drama. Okay. So, survival. Yeah, we're surviving. Dang, too bad I didn't get an advancement for that. But we did advance as well. So. So when you advance, if you're not familiar, there's this little table here. We start out as rank 0. And then we go down. Our rank is now Scout, and we have Vac Suit 1. So we get to increase our Vac Suit rating. That's good. And then we get to roll, and I'm gonna roll on the personal development table because that one's likely to get you new attributes. Here, personal development for intelligence +1, which brings us to 10. Okay, so no bonus thing. I was hoping for like endurance +1 or education, but that's okay. Let's do another one. I'll show you how it works here. So we roll for a skill on their service table. Let's do 4. Did we get his science again? We did. Okay, well that's fine. I'll probably have it be something related to planetology or astronomy. Something, that a scientist would use. I'm really hoping to get more piloting, because as it stands, we just have a straight bonus. We don't get anything to it. So what's our event? 11. Serve as a courier for important message. Get 1 level of diplomat or DM +4 in your next advancement roll. I don't care about diplomat right now. So let's get +4 to our advancement roll. Probably not. Wait, that's 7. Okay. Whew. Okay. And then we barely survived that. For advancement, we've got 7 because of 8. So, yeah, we advanced no matter what. But we wouldn't have advanced without that. Now, it doesn't have a rank name or benefit for rank 2. But if we get up to, then again, we'll at least have pilot at +1 for next term. So let's roll personal development again. 4. Int again. Okay, fine. Not helping me at all. Oh, and now we roll at the end of fourth term to see if we've aged at all. That's right. Boom. 6, 10. We didn't. Okay. Now, let's see. A skill. 4. Are you kidding me? Okay. He's one good scientist. I think I'll turn 5. What's the event? Survey an alien world, gain animals, recon, or science. Oh, let's do animals riding. That sounds like fun. Ooh. That's my thing. Okay. See if I survive. Yes. And get promoted. Let's try again for attribute bonus. So now we are, yes, at senior scout. And we have pilot 1. Yay. Okay. And then what's 2 on personal development? Dexterity +1. Good. All right. So we went from having no bonus to now having a total of +2 whenever we need to pilot the ship. And again, the standard difficulty is 8, so we only have to roll a 6 on most pilot rolls. Probably a good place to stop. Let's see how he ages. Doesn't. Okay. So now our homie gets to retire with 5 terms, which means he gets at rank 3, he gets 2 extra bonus benefit rolls, so he gets 7 retirement rolls. He's got a pension of 10,000. That's a year or a month? I think it's a year. Oh, that's right. Scouts don't get pensions. Scouts never get to retire, and you actually have to do all sorts of crazy things. It's just a thankless job, but it gives you well-rounded skills. So, 7 retirement rolls. Now, let's do 1 cash roll for him. 5, okay. So, 50,000. Okay. Retire. 50,000. And then our other 6 rolls. We've got a 4, a 4, a 1 to start with. So what do we have there? 2 weapons and a ship share. Now I think if you get a weapon twice, you actually get to take a skill with it instead. So yeah. Okay, so good. Yeah, we'll give ourselves, like a little slug thrower or something, and then what was 1 again? Oh, a ship share. That's right. which is like interesting because, yeah. Okay, we have 3 more. 5, 2, 4. Okay. Intelligence +1. Another weapon. Another weapon. Well, dang. Okay, so the best shot there is, we're just gonna get him up to 3. And then intelligence +1. Okay, so we have intelligence at 12, which is not bad at all. He gets a +2 bonus now to related tasks. Overall, not bad stats for a character. So we've got the pilot down. There is a way you tie up your character creations with what's called skill packages. So normally you you'll pick one of these, and then each character in it gets to pick like one from each of them. Kind of fill in where they don't have anything. There's also like the connections rule, where you state that my character knows this character because of reason, and we each get a different skill based on our first encounter with each other, which is pretty cool. But Solo doesn't do that rule. Instead, ship shares and starship should be re-rolled. Okay. So, I need to do that. Okay. So, a different roll for a ship share. 5. Is that intelligence again? I think it is. Oh, it's another weapon. Man, I'm going to be maxed out on this. Well, So for a scout, starship benefits and ship shares need to be re-rolled. As cash is recommended. And yeah, I don't think my guy should have like a 4 in his little pistol. That's blatantly abusive. So let's re-roll that as cash then. 1. So okay, he's got 70 grand. And to be honest, I think I'm taking it. Now, let's take a look before we go ahead and get the rest of the characters made. I want to show you, like, just the campaign, because I want to see too what updates Paul Elliott may have made to it. Just like in case that I'm doing. Yeah, see, look, we got a pregame checklist. Create scout characters. Ensure the characters have a life event. See, if my character hadn't have, that wouldn't have been great. And he did. Assign a starship. Take a blank subsector map. Determine the presence of target star systems. One edge map. Create a sustainable base system from which to start. And random rolls. Okay, and then this is here a checklist for like when you're in your game processes. And this is a whole process for like take off, go to a new system, look around, see what you're gonna do. Cool. Blank map. Crew. Begin, create character using scout career. Select skill section, make every other randomized skill roll a player selection. See? And this is why I should have been looking at that first. Mustering out. There is no mustering out. Everyone still works for the service. Roll 1d6. Oh, okay. So with that said, my intelligence is now 11. I don't have that weapon at 3. Got it at 0. Got 2,000. Okay, and that's just fine. However, what's great about that is that now, instead of 3 science, I'm going to put it back down to 1, and I'm going to select myself another rank of pilot, and let's do, heck, let's make that 3. We never know what we're going to be facing in there. Okay, glad I read that. The ship. And so, I apologize if you can hear that dog. That's my stupid Chewini boy. I love him to death, but ugh, I've got 2. So yeah, you get points for doing a better survey, finding more interesting things. And I think, you know what I might have to do? Because these stupid dogs are getting louder, I may have to let you go for now. But, oh yeah, you see this? Right here? So, really, really cool tables to make the planets more interesting than you'll get using the baseline creation. That's not a monkey, that's my daughter. So I'm going to call it good for now, and we're going to come back to this